Joining me on the hotline is a consultant with decades of experience studying consumers. She is a well-known figure. She has worked with global brands such as Walmart, Applebee's, and IHOP. She is Lisa Miller, and she joins me on the hotline. So, Lisa, big companies are starting to have a say on consumer spending and inflation. What are some of the things that the corporate companies are talking about when it comes to consumer spending and inflation?
Well, good morning. And there's just so much going on right now, Ron, because with the inflation, it continues to be every month a 40-year high, and then it goes higher. And so companies right now are a little bit concerned about that tipping point that consumers are going to say, I just can't afford to do. I can't go out to eat as much. I can't go to the movies because things are so expensive right now. So there's definitely a little bit of concern about that tipping point.
All right, so the interest rates went up 0.5%. The folks doing that saying that this will slow down inflation. So with that in mind, the million-dollar question, will consumers continue to buy now, even though the prices are a little higher, or are they going to hold off and wait until later? And I would imagine holding off would make things a whole lot worse.
Right. Well, that is such a great point. And as you know, we've been tracking consumer research during COVID, for the last 2 years. And I call it the journey back to joy. And what's fascinating is in the survey that we just completed, there's two categories that really stand out of things that people want to do now before prices go up more. And one of them is actually buying clothes and shoes and just, maybe getting a new outfit, with vacations coming, with people going back to work. Consumers are definitely saying, you know what, I think I want to buy clothes. I want to splurge a little bit now before prices go up more. And then the other thing that stood out in this last data was car repairs, that consumers want to get their cars fixed. And again, think about that is that if we haven't been driving as much, our cars have been sitting, maybe putting off maintenance. And so now before prices go up, and, car prices are up really high. So a little splurge and a little something practical are the couple of things that people are wanting to do now before prices go up.
Lisa Miller joining me on the hotline on the Friday edition of Potesta in the Morning. Lisa, it seems to me that if you're going to go and grab some things that don't pay or don't cost nearly as much, the things that are affordable, clothing, splurge on some food, splurge on some other things that you would normally not splurge on. I guess looking at the tea leaves, you'd rather do that, and then if you have a car with high mileage or a car that you're hoping that you can nurse for about a year or so, hoping that the car prices go down, hoping the inflation goes down. I'm thinking that's the direction everyone is going in now.
Exactly. And on the flip side, I mentioned the two things people want to splurge on, but you're absolutely right. The things that the consumer data is telling us, putting off homes and home remodels, so big ticket items, buying cars, those are all the things that consumers like, you know what, these are expensive and I'm hoping that these prices are going to come down. But what's fascinating is, with home prices, those do go up and down. And we're kind of used to that, right? They splurge, they go up and they go down. But with car prices, this is kind of new territory because, we know used cars, the prices went up. We know that, new cars went up because of the chips. But it'll be interesting to see, do they actually come back down? Because that's new territory. But when you think about restaurant prices, apparel prices, those usually, we know those don't come down. Those prices go up, and the only way that they come back down is through promotions and sales. So it'll be very interesting the next, 3, 4, 6 months to see what happens with these prices. But consumers are a little bit concerned, less money in their pockets because of tax returns as well. So there's all these types of things that are just making, big pressure on consumers.
The Producer's Price Index, that measures what wholesalers are paying. It posted its biggest rise year after year on record. It went up 11.3% in March, and so far in 2022. Rising prices have not significantly slowed consumers down. And I'll say this, Lisa Miller joining me on the hotline. It's the Friday edition of the Ron Potesta Morning Show. I'll say this: anytime I go out and about to look at restaurants and the parking lots of restaurants, if I go to a casino, inevitably on Friday and Saturday, it's filled. You can't get a parking spot. So clearly the consumers are still spending their money.
Right. And what's kind of exciting, for the economy is I was just looking at an article came out yesterday in the Wall Street Journal, and in many categories, the demand is actually back to 2019. So the consumer pent-up demand, and that's why I call it the journey back to joy, we miss going out to eat. We miss traveling. So the demand is absolutely there. And it's just a matter of, maybe people just don't go as often. They're going to go out and they'll splurge. They'll go to that casino. They'll go to that restaurant. But at the end of the day, there's only so much dollars in people's pockets. And even with gas prices taking hundreds of dollars out of people's pockets, it's all about a frequency game. But the pent-up demand is still there, and consumers want to go out and have these joyful experiences.
I'll be real curious to see what the summer vacation outlook is because, we talk about big ticket items. All right. Getting a car, that's extremely expensive. But going on vacation, depending on where you're going, that can be expensive as well. I'll look forward to seeing if summer vacation destinations are flatlined or they're up. Yes,
and, summer vacation ticket prices, I know we just bought some tickets, and, it was like $800 per person. It was really expensive. And like I said, the demand is going to be there, but will people be able to afford it, or are they going to go ahead and, like I said, just splurge and know that they're going to have to scrimp and scrape on some other things to be able to do those vacations? But my May data, I'm definitely going to dig into this summer vacation because I think that's a big question for everybody.
Lisa Miller, we're living in some weird times. People want to spend their money even though the prices are up. It's a perfect storm, and hopefully we have some relief on the way.
Yes, I hope you're right, and hopefully we'll all find those joyful experiences.
Lisa, thank you so much for checking in. We'll speak soon.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.